Good night and welcome once again to the Belmopan Town Hall, where we discuss all matters pertinent to the great constituency of Belmopan and the country of Belize, our beloved jewel. Uh, Tonight is a very special episode, a very special town hall because it is coming on the heels of Decision 2020, where the People's United Party was able to register a resounding victory in this general elections, carrying 26 of 31 seats in a very impressive and commanding manner. It begs the question, the rising tide floating all boats, especially in Belmopan, where corruption was washed out in the personage of John Saldiva, washed out in a most resounding and impressive way. So I want to congratulate the people of Belmopan. I want to congratulate uh, the leader of the People's United Party's leader, John Briceño, who is now our new prime minister, who has broken a glass ceiling of sorts in Belizean politics, being the first prime minister coming from a constituency not from Belize City, that is not based in Belize City. So that is a notch in Mr. Briceño's belt to be the first outside of Belize City to win. Uh, I will not say he's the first non-Belize City resident, in the sense that we have had Said Musa, who hails originally from San Ignacio, going to Belize City and becoming a powerhouse in that municipality. But certainly, John Briceño from Orange Walk Central is the first non-Belize City-based politician to hold the distinction of being our nation's prime minister. Congratulations are in order, and certainly we look forward to seeing the good works that are possible with such a commanding majority and mandate given by the people. There is no question, people, that this was a legitimate election. The legitimacy of the election can be gauged by the extent of participation. In most constituencies, the participation of the electorate exceeded 8%, which, given the various impediments affecting the people going to the polls, that being the coronavirus pandemic, the widespread flooding that came as a result of Hurricane Eta impacting our area, one would have believed that voter turnout would have been negatively impacted by that phenomenon. However, quite the opposite took place. Irrespective of those things, those issues and factors, the Belizean populace of the age of majority, those who are able to vote, came out in their thousands to cast their ballots. And the statement that was made by the Belizean voter was unmistakable, undeniable, and clear. This is a very clear mandate given to the People's United Party, and one that establishes the nation's disdain and contempt for corruption and abuse of power, for elitism and the practice of privilege. The nation has spoken quite clearly, and it is saying it is time for the business of nation building to be done. I don't believe that anybody who registered their vote yesterday did so, believing that by doing so they would not get the change that they're seeking to get. So I invite the new Prime Minister of Belize and the new air representatives serving on the side of the majority to take heed to what the people of Belize and in Belmopan have stated. And it should not be something that's difficult, because here we have a situation where three-fourth majority is in the House on one side. It's the kind of power needed for changes. It's the kind of power that allows for the opening of great possibilities in relation to development. If development is what those who have now ascended to the seat of parliamentary power seek to serve on the people. Development. There is no denying that these are challenging times for Belize and Belizeans. It was no secret that the Petro-Caribe monies were long squandered, that the country is in the throes of serious debt. But we all knew this. And those who offered themselves for service offered themselves knowing this. So at this particular point, considering that there is a plan in place, we would want to see that plan be implemented at its earliest possible time. We don't have a lot of time to wait. The understanding that we have at this particular point is that we only have sufficient foreign reserves to take us into December. That December is the break-off point where our imports may be severely constricted due to the shortage in availability of foreign currency for the purchase of goods. This may actually impact on the Christmas season, which is a season that many Belizeans look forward to celebrate with family. So this new administration comes in facing many challenges, and it is incumbent upon us as citizens of Belize to do what we can to assist our government, do what we can to guide our government, do what we can to encourage our government in its task to serve us. So yes, we must strike that conciliatory tone, reach out with the olive branch where we can, but at the same time remain vigilant to ensure that the Constitution of Belize is upheld, and where it has been violated, that those violations be addressed. The mandate that has been given to the People's United Party is one to do exactly that. Reaffirm the commitment of the party and the administration to the Constitution of Belize, ensuring by doing so that the people of Belize and the interests of the people remain at the forefront of consideration and not on the back burner. Saying that, it is my fervent hope that at the earliest possible time, proposals be placed before Parliament for registration of political parties, so that the abuses that we've seen in decades past and as recently as this past election would not be repeated. We also seek to have Parliament bring forward its propositions to have the constituencies in the country be made as equal as possible to ensure equality of the vote across the nation, which we certainly did not have in this latest round of general elections. That said, there is a matter before the court in respect of the voter discrimination issue. We would hope that Parliament, recognizing that this problem is indeed a glaring one requiring urgent attention, would seek to do so before the court has to intervene. But if that is not the case, and such efforts are not forthcoming from Parliament, the Belize Peace Movement, whom I represent, still stands by to do what is necessary for the people of Belize in ensuring that the Constitution of Belize and its principles of fairness and equality be upheld. I will not be long tonight because, as you know, for the past 2 years, this town hall has been used as a platform to shed light on the issues impacting Belmopan and the nation. And one of the main focuses of the town hall was the track record or lack thereof of the former Air Representative John Saldiva. Well, Mr. Saldiva has received his comeuppance to a great degree. However, I still believe that there is more that has to be done. Crimes were committed, and crimes are offenses against the state. I believe it's clear that the Money Laundering Anti-Terrorism Act of Belize was violated in respect of those monies received from Lev Derman. I believe that there's sufficient grounds for charges to be laid, and I believe that the people of Belmopan and the people of Belize expect no less than the rule of law to be respected across the board, no matter who violates it. The rule of law establishes that there is no one above the law. So in this regard, where a former member of Parliament has committed a crime, it is incumbent upon the authorities to carry out a thorough investigation, allow for due process, levy a charge, and then have the matter be prosecuted before the courts of law in Belize. And certainly, John Saldiva is not the only likely candidate for such treatment. There are a number of other elected officials, formerly elected officials, who fall within the criteria necessary for prosecution. The mandate that has been given to the PUP is one that requires seriousness in addressing the will of the people. And it's the will of the people to stamp out corruption that requires action. It doesn't require a witch hunt of years, deliberation with no real results. It requires a concise, concerted, and focused investigation of the infractions, transgressions, and manifestations of criminality that have occurred, with meaningful prosecution, with a view to obtaining justice. Prosecution of cases and charges is not about retribution. It's about justice. It's not about vengeance or revenge. It's about justice. Because Every crime committed against the state impacts every citizen of the state, and it should not go without redress. So, in this truncated town hall, I invite those who have been given the mantle of service to do just that. Serve the people, serve them well, carry out the edicts of the mandate that you have been granted without fear of favor, affection, or ill will. It is time to restore the nation of Belize to the heights that the father of the nation brought it to and left it. It is time for us to go back to root principles of social justice. It is time for us to ensure that the weakest and most vulnerable among us are given as much attention and care as the strongest. In the next installment of Town Hall, I will lay out some economic suggestions that the new government could consider going forward to stimulate and grow the economy in a way that would allow meaningful participation of the private sector and accelerated job growth. We need to create wealth in Belize, and that job of wealth creation has to start now. It cannot be put on the back burner. It cannot be put on pause. The economy is the greatest single issue impacting the nation. And if we lose sight of the economy, the misery index is going to rise quickly. I love my country. I love my people. I do not want to see continued suffering in Belize, nor in Belmopan. There are many opportunities in Belmopan, many things that can be done. Going forward, I will renew my commitment to the private sector, and I will be doing everything I can to create jobs in Belmopan. Take care. Have a good night. Until we meet again, God bless.